friends. I'm gonna palette knife paint a rooster painting. I just finished an abstract that's very colorful, and y'all sent me amazing ideas for title ideas. I ended up going with, oh shoot, I forgot. Oh, Pinky Swear. I was thinking Pretty in Pink, and I knew that wasn't it. Pinky Swear. The titles were amazing. Thank you. I wrote them all down. I'm still kind of in a colorful mood, and I've been palette knife painting lately, so let's put them both together in a rooster. Okay, I'm gonna paint a smaller painting. This is a 9 by 12 canvas. It's 1.5 inches thick. I love these gallery wrapped canvases where it's tucked in. I've sprayed it with water and dried it with a hair dryer to tighten it up like a drum. Somebody asked me the other day if I really write love on the canvas. And I do. Oh, I'm getting a shadow from the video arm and the light I have behind it. That's watercolor pencil. It'll dissolve right into the paint. I think writing the word love on the canvas is just a really nice way to start. I make happy art, and I just think it's just a fun thing to do. I think I'm gonna paint the background. I wanna maybe put some chicken wire pattern in there, make it a little, I don't know, a little textural. We'll see how that works and what I think after I get going. Alrighty, I want to show you what I'm up to. So I painted the background and I just put down some color. This is a burnt umber with some neutral gray 5 in it, some unbleached titanium, some white. You could gray out the burnt umber with a little bit of, you could try blue. Trying to think. Yellow would warm it up. So blue, maybe a little green. Anyway, so then I grid with a small T-square. I grid my canvas. Oh, and I also dropped, my horizon line was up here. I did drop it down here. But I grid the canvas in 1-inch squares. And then I am, with a watercolor pencil, sketching in chicken wire. And then I've also, you can see I've kind of like taken a wet, clean brush and just scribbled out some lines so I don't lose where I'm going. I'm thinking the chicken wire, it's gonna be really strong, which is gonna be too much because I'm painting a rooster. So there's gonna be a rooster head, a rooster body, feet, and a tail. I don't want the background to overpower the rooster, but I'm gonna paint in the chicken wire, and then I'm gonna palette knife over it with some white or some neutral colors. So you just sort of a hint of chicken wire back there, and I hope it works. So I just wanted to show you what I was doing. It's taking me quite a while. It took me a little bit to figure out, so I have a square. Here, I'll show you. So then actually part of the chicken wire goes up. Here's a square. I'll do it in black so you can see it. I did an orange watercolor pencil, so it wouldn't be quite so strong. So let me see if you guys can see. I think you can kind of see that here, but a little darker. But really, the chicken wire goes up here at a triangle, and then it goes here at a triangle. And then there's like little twisties where the wire's twisted. And then, but above it, the wire's twisted here. So it alternates every other row. So you have all these triangles. So then I'll just go down a row, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and draw triangles. Well, not really triangles, but draw a zigzag. And see, that connects up here. And the twisties there. Pretty simple way to do chicken wire. And I'm just gonna have a hint. My goal is just to have a hint of chicken wire in the background, so I don't have to be too perfect with it. Okay, I'm gonna finish that up, and I think I'm gonna paint the chicken wire to keep it smoother. Paint the design on there, and then I think I already said that, I know I said that, and then paint over it with a palette knife. Okay, back in a little while. Take a look at some chicken wire. So I'm just using a, hold it so you can see it. I think it's better that way. Here, I'll get it closer to the camera. It's just a small filbert brush, probably a 1/4 inch wide. Oh, here I could read Oh no, I can't read. I've got my computer glasses on. I think it's an 8 Royal Lang nickel. And then I'm just painting some brownish grays. So you can see that's pretty busy to have a rooster on top of it, I would think. And here, I'll show you my palette. So I had neutral gray 5 and burnt umber, and then mixed the color. This is my background color that I was using already with some white and some unbleached titanium. So I just load my brush with a little bit of color and paint a line. And then sometimes if you want some of them darker, just take some straight up burnt umber. And then I'm just doing a couple little brush strokes. Oh, am I leaning in too much? I can't. This is a little painting, so that means we're even closer. So I've got my phone right there videoing. You don't necessarily need the vertical lines, like I don't have it there. A lot of it's gonna get covered up. But I'm thinking the texture is gonna be yummy and worth it, even though I'm gonna cover a lot of this chicken wire up. And then I've also been painting it in my lap. I would probably normally paint this on my art table, but it's this canvas is a little bit too big to video the way I have things set up. Okay, whoops, here, well, let's stick this one in. We'll finish the whole row. Pretty slick, pretty simple. And if it doesn't, if like I got a little fat there, it really doesn't matter. You can kind of buzz through this pretty quick. All right, I'm gonna make progress and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, I've got the chicken wire painted. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna let it completely dry, and then I don't know if I need to, but I'm gonna wash off some of the yellow watercolor pencil that you can kind of see, or orange. I said yellow watercolor pencil. And then palette knife over it with like a zinc white or maybe some titanium white and some matte medium. But I want to let it dry overnight, make sure it's decently dry. It can take a week, maybe, depending on the weather, for an acrylic painting to cure. But overnight, it shouldn't lift up the paint that's below. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. Hey guys, I wanted you to take a look at what I'm doing. So I want to cover, I want to have a hint of chicken wire, but I don't want to have a lot showing through. At first I started with mixing white, and it was too thin, too transparent. So then I mixed titanium white and mixing white, and I'm getting more of the look I'm looking for. Oh, that was a sentence. The look I'm looking for. I'm going to keep going. I'll come back and show you how it's coming along. Let's take a look at how far I am. So I used this palette knife and put in more of the white, titanium white and mixing white mixture over the chicken wire pattern. And I'm really starting to like it. And then you can see that I filled in some of those hexagon shapes. So even though I covered up the chicken wire, I'm still kind of hinting at it by filling in some of those shapes with more opaque white. And then I've got my rooster sketched on here. Yeah, you can see him pretty good. Just because I want to see, I'm thinking I want him colorful, but then as you know, if you've watched any of my videos, I changed my mind. I'm definitely gonna have red. Gotta have red on a rooster. And then so if I want it to pop, we would use maybe like a lime green, which I don't know if you see in real life, lime green feathers on a rooster, but I think I might try it, or maybe some blue green. And then maybe gold. So that might be my 3 colors. Because I think we'll need some gold on the legs. If we have gold here, we'll need some gold on the legs. So I need to get my palette set up, and we'll start working on this rooster and then see how we like it compared to the background. All right, guys, I'm starting to lean towards a less colorful rooster and maybe some more muted colors, just because I really like this cad red deep hue that I'm using. That's this one right here, burnt umber. and then Naples yellow and titanium white. We'll let it see how it develops. And then this is going to be primarily a palette knife painting. I palette knifed over the background. I'll add some palette knife to the comb. I'm going to use a brush for the legs and the face just to get some detail in there. It's a little easier and quicker. I'm using a little, can you see that? It's a little knife brush, so then I can do the details in the eyes. So I thought I'd pop in and just show you. Oops, I picked up some dark red and I don't think I want it. So I'm sort of underpainting because I'm going to come back with a little palette knife on top. That's kind of a berry color, which is really pretty. And then I don't know, oh yeah, you can see, I was wondering. So I've had this on my lap. This, I think I just said this is a 9x12, which is a little too big for me to video on my art table. But it's really a little small for me to paint here on my easel. So I've been just sitting here painting it on my lap. I wanted to pop in so you can see what I'm up to and what I'm thinking. I'm not at all opposed to a really bright rooster. I think it'd be fun. I don't know. I think part of what I'm thinking is I'm wondering which will sell better. Some artists would say, oh, don't ever worry about that. You know, paint your heart, which is really awesome advice. But especially during a pandemic, I want to be mindful of what I think more people would like. By the time you see this video, I can't really ask you, you know, colorful rooster or more muted colors because the video will be done and so will the painting. So just kind of scribbling in some color. The light's coming. Oh, I'm just gonna have it kind of come like I usually do. I usually have it come from that direction. I'll have a shadow down here from the rooster, maybe a little shadow over here. So maybe actually I want the light almost coming more. I might do it straight down. Alrighty, I'm gonna paint. I just wanted you to see what I'm up to, the colors I'm working with so far. One way to help your painting stay more unified is to use fewer colors. So right now I pretty much have two. This burnt umber can pretty much act as a black. And then if I add one, I'm gonna add a cool bluish green or something. So it's sort of a complement of the red. And that's one way to really help your painting stay unified, is not to have, you know, every color you own on your palette. Okay guys, I'll be back in a little bit. I wanted to pop in and show you what I'm doing. I haven't gotten much further, but I'm just taking some straight up titanium white. This is a small filbert, because this parts of this rooster is going to be gold. Just because a lot of roosters are, you know, I don't know if you've seen colorful roosters, but they're gold up in here, and then they have more color down in here and very colorful tail feathers. And so the gold is a transparent color. So I thought it would be a little easier when I'm palette knifing if you can't see the chicken wire pattern underneath. So I wanted to pop in and, I mean, I could put quite a few layers of gold or mix yellow with a little bit of white, and then it covers much more easily. But I thought I'd show you that little tip. So I'm gonna do that. I don't know that I need to do that on the feathers, because it's gonna be, see, I haven't picked the other color I'm gonna use. That bluish green I talked about. So I may just go ahead and do these feathers too, just to make my life a wee bit easier. And really, you know, you could let that pattern show through. That would just be another interesting element. Now that, I don't know how well you can see that. Now that I'm doing this, that could have been an option too. Okay, guys. Oops, I just got paint on my easel. Back in a little bit. Okay, look what I've done. I took my filbert brush, And I just scrubbed in some color, some shadow, because I kind of wanted to see what it was looking like. And here, the paint picked up, oh, I've got a little Naples yellow on my brush there. I picked up some of the charcoal sketching and it just made a gray, which is totally fine because that's going to be my shadow area. I've definitely changed my mind. I'm going to go softer colors on this one. And then I decided I'm going to use my favorite phthalo, I call it phthalo. Let me know if you know how to pronounce that. I call it phthalo blue-green shade. I don't know if you can see that if it's focusing. It's a tough word. It's PHTHALO. I think it's cyanine. That's a tough word. And I'm going to use that primarily for these feathers here. I think it'll be fun. I've never mixed it with the Naples yellow, but then I think I can also get some greens. So I kind of play with complements a little bit. But next I'm going to work on the feet, and I'm going to need to do that on my lap so I can see it. I wanted to pop in, show you what I was doing. It's still going to be a palette knife painting, but sometimes it's nice just to kind of shade some stuff in and see where you're going. I forgot to mention, so I used my favorite kneaded eraser to lighten up the charcoal markings. But they're already lightened pretty much here. That's all you do. You just rub it, and then you'll get some charcoal on the eraser. And then you kind of knead it in like bread, and then lighten some more. Okay. Let's take a look at what I've got going on. So I put some phthalo blue green shade on my palette, and I mixed it just a little teeny bit with a pile of Naples yellow, and it made a nice muted green. I really like it. And then I mixed the phthalo blue green shade with a burnt umber, and this is actually, you can't really see it. Here, let me put a little white in it. It makes kind of a foresty blue-green. Isn't that interesting? And I'm going to start palette knife painting. Oh yeah, look at that. I just want to see what that color looks like. That's pretty cool. All right, I think I'm going to start with I'm either going to start here, which not with that color. I think I'm going to start with some tail feathers because they're kind of right now fading into the background. So I can at least see them a little bit better as I'm painting along. So I mixed a little bit of my green with a little bit more of the Naples yellow and some white. That's a really nice green. I'm gonna have to remember that color combination. So what do you guys do? So painting is really good. So it's like something for my mind to think about. It's not terribly complicated. It's something for my hands to do. Do you guys knit? Going for a walk works. I mean, I suppose if this would not be for me, but if you really like numbers, do you crunch numbers? You know, what is your thing that relaxes you? I've been painting more since the pandemic. I mean, I'm not sure exactly where I'm hesitating there, but I'm advertising more. But this is what I'm trying to say. But painting has been more relaxing and more important to me since the pandemic. I've been making more art because I started the sidewalk chalk art. I haven't actually been painting more. Okay, you can tell I'm thinking and painting. Plus, it's a little painting, and you know I've mentioned this a few times. I like working on my lap when it's smaller or on my art table. So I think I'm gonna, of course, I don't know how much I've showed you of this painting. I've popped in and out a lot on this one. So what I want to do is stop the video so I can put it in my lap and paint, but I don't know if it shows you enough of how I do it. So now I'm trying to decide where the colors are going to go. Yeah, see, I can't really paint that. But you can see I'm just palette knifing in the direction of the feathers. Oh, you know what might be kind of fun is to pick up a little of my darker, greener color there. All right, guys, I'm definitely fighting it. I need to put it on my lap. I'll pop back in so you can see how I'm coming along. This guy's starting to look a little more realistic than I intended, but that's not a problem. But I'm liking how loose and rough the palette knife strokes are. And you can see some of the little ones I've done in here. And then I just put in some color. I might cover that up, I'm not sure. I'm liking it. Let's just scoot it over so you guys can see it a little bit better. I'll show you my palette. So I've just mixed, you know, a couple more shades of green. This dark blue green from the burnt umber and the phthalo blue green shade is really kind of fun too. That's this color. I think it looks blue when you get it next to the greener colors. It's really nice. So I just keep going now. At this point, you just keep going. And then I'm gonna palette knife some of the shadow in. I think I'll put a little palette knife in there. But actually, it kind of looks like it already is. So I'm not totally sure if I'm gonna keep this light or do lots of, I'm tempted to do lots of strokes. A rooster that's similar to this would have a blue body here, not all of them, but a lot of like blue body here, some rusty reds here, some golds, and then really dark blue feathers. But I think we can do whatever we want. Go as real as we want and as different as we want. And I'm not sure how much I'm gonna show. So sometimes a rooster has like almost a wing that points down, but my reference photo has more of this shaped wing, and I'm not sure what I want to do there. Maybe actually, well, let's put this color on and then oh, I kind of like that color. Let's put some of that in there. Kind of warm it up. So one thing nice about this palette knife is you can get nice triangle shapes, which work well for the direction of the rooster's feathers. Just kind of hint at them. So I'm trying not to, I think I've talked about cloning before. Oops, I got too much paint. Well, that helps me not clone. Oh, that's kind of funny. So I'm trying to keep this paint, you don't have to, but it's just something I'm doing, a little smoother because I'm going to put more layers on the top. But sometimes also those rough little ridges can help you. And I'm wanting to turn my painting. I can't quite get my arm to bend the way I want. Those rough little texture layers can give you more interest when you come back over it with another color. I'm getting kind of sloppy where I don't like what's happening. So I'll show you how we fix that. Now I'm going to take a clean brush, doesn't matter what brush, get it wet, and then you can just clean it up. And then clean off my brush. Oh, I think I cleaned off more than I needed to. That's okay. I can come back and fix it. Isn't that slick? And that's what's nice about doing acrylic painting, because it'll dry. You could hair dry it, sort of like I mentioned a little bit earlier, as a save as, like a save as on a computer. And then this has been dry for a couple days, maybe 3 days. And so I can really scrub it to clean it. Sometimes if it's only been hair dried with a hair dryer, that was a weird sentence. You'll lift some of that paint. It's really not set. I don't know how long it takes for the acrylic paint to cure. It depends on the weather. I say a week, but it might only be a few days. With an oil painting, it can take months, depending on how thick it is and stuff, for that oil to dry. Actually, well, I think they do dry eventually. So it can. That's why sometimes you get more fuzzier, impressionistic paintings, because you got to put that stroke down and then leave it, and it's going to blend into that wet background. Acrylic, you tend to see harder edges. You can make it fuzzier. You can use open acrylic paints, like Golden Open, or just work in wet areas. Whereas I did the whole background, and then I'm doing the rooster on top. You just work a little differently to get more of that fuzzier look. Or dry brushing too can give you a fuzzy look. So anyway, I wanted to show you how far I've gotten, what I'm thinking. I'm going to definitely put more darks and more texture on there, but I wanted to start working on more of the rooster to make sure it's working together, that I like what's going on, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going to put some of that color in there just to tie it in a little bit. So one thing I'm thinking, and I don't know how it'll end up, but so I'll have some darks here. The red is definitely going to draw your eye, and plus it's the face where the eye is. So I'm thinking I'm going to have a heavy contrast here too. So a strong contrast there, you definitely get the punch and contrast of the red. So then your eye will keep moving around the painting. That's the thought process, and I think that really maybe should be the goal. We'll just try and keep that in mind as we go. I'm going to put some of these shadows in maybe. That might be a good idea, because then we can paint over them. And then I don't think I want that as dark. Can always make it darker. Can always make it lighter. That's the nice thing about acrylics, is you can work dark to light or light to dark. It's pretty forgiving. If you can't cover up a color, can't cover up a dark color with another color, paint over it with white or maybe a gray, something that's opaque, and then you can paint over it. So I'm mixing there a little bit with the palette knife right on the canvas. I'll lighten it up a little bit more. I like the skips. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, maybe not. I like the skips that you get with a palette knife. Makes it look artier. And then when I'm not on camera, I turn this, put it in my lap, as I've mentioned. I think I'm going to keep him kind of green down here and warmer up there. The light's pretty much coming straight down. But then he would get, you don't have to do this, but he would get a little light that's coming around him. I'm going to try and think feathers here. So I'm going to keep it cooler, but a little lighter. This is no different than the other palette knife paintings I have on YouTube, if you want to see them. you know, palette knife stroke direction matters, but when you need to, or when you need to shape it, you can go from the edge in. It's easier to control. All right, guys, I think that's enough art tips. I'll be back in a little while. All right, let's take a look. I've added quite a bit more detail to the feathers. Just layers and lines and lighter areas, darker areas. I'm starting to really like those. And I've been working a bit on the rooster, putting in some color. I'm not sure if I like the red. I may cover it up, I may add it back in. I'm just kind of building as I go. My palette hasn't changed other than it's getting messier. So I thought I would just pop in and show you what I'm up to. Still haven't figured out what I'm gonna do. Maybe I should put some color on that wing. It needs to be darker because the light's up here. Although actually, after I did that, there could be a little touch of light if this is sticking out a little bit. Someone on YouTube had asked me to do another rooster painting. So I kind of did both another rooster painting and a palette knife painting. Oh, so I was gonna say, I'm gonna say a pun, kill two birds. Put some gold in there maybe. I don't know if that's dark enough, but. So sometimes it's kind of easier just to get some color down and then come back with a little bit more detail. So as earlier I had, you know, filled in the feathers, then I came back and added more line, like there's a line and there's kind of a line and there's a little line. So it's kind of fun. Once you decide if you like the colors and you just keep using the same colors, it's more play because I've already got the structure down. And I think the background, looking in my phone, I really like it. Looking at it in person, it seems a little strong. So I may take some photographs, stand back from it once I get more of the rooster done and see what I think. So there I just have my palette knife flat and I'm just basically cleaning it off. And it's catching highlights and skipping. Oh, I need to get some clean white on my palette. Running out and it's got little bits of color. I don't know, that's about all. I didn't really have anything to say, but I thought I should pop in for an update. A dirty palette knife doesn't necessarily matter. You just don't necessarily want to make mud, unless you're painting mud or you're painting a shadow or something you want. Then you might want some mud. So this turned out to be a pretty colorful rooster, but I was gonna do bright colors like in the Pinky Swear abstract painting. You guys might like that one. That one's a ton of bright colors and a lot of pink. And then I got so many great title ideas. That was really fun. It was tough to choose, but I ended up going with Pinky Swear. Pretty in Pink was a fun one after the movie. I thought that one was just as clever. All right, guys. It's getting late. I'm going to call it a night, and I'll be back tomorrow. Take a look. This painting finished really fast. So it took a while to do the tail feathers, and then I primarily brushed the face and then came back with a little palette knife painting. But the body went pretty quick. And then I'm liking the chicken wire background where I've put some lighter areas in there. I think that turned out really nice. But I didn't ever come back with any more painting tips because it finished fast. Give you a little look here. And it goes over, just the background goes over onto the side. So I'm gonna pop my head in here so I don't scare you. Oh gosh, that's big. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing on Facebook, commenting. I love that. I love the comments on Instagram, on YouTube. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe on YouTube. I'm growing slowly and I'm really excited about that. Art hugs, everybody, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.